Thoughts, our listeners live and on podcast.
All right, we know that I do joke quite often about my attempted escapes from the psych ward, but in all seriousness, the psych ward gang is seriously my idea of representing the military. Representing mental health in the military community. So if you happen to run into any type of mental health crisis or emergency, do not be ashamed nor afraid to dial 988, press option 1. Again, just as I had to do when I was in a moment of crisis, do not be ashamed nor afraid to dial the digits 988, then press option 1 if you find yourself in a similar...
What's up? Let's get it. We are on another episode. Today we have episode 98 of the WarDawg Trail podcast. I am your host, Sergeant WarDawg. I got a great guest with us today. You know I get hyped whenever we have another Marine on the show. So today, that's what I'm going to be doing, is bringing you a podcaster as well as a Marine veteran. But before I bring him to the stage, let's go over today's announcements. All right, as always, you can visit sergeantwardawgtv.com to find out the most up-to-date information about the show. You can also find us on Facebook, Sergeant WarDawg TV, YouTube, Sergeant WarDawg TV, and Instagram at Sergeant WarDawg TV. You can also find us on X at Sergeant War. All right. Now, we are brand ambassadors for Reaper Apparel Co. So you can use our code Sergeant WarDawg TV for 10% off of your entire order. All right, our nonprofit, Camp Doghouse, which is our attempt at creating a homeless veteran shelter in the Central Florida area, can now be found at campdoghouse.org. So visit the website, see what we're trying to do in Hollow Paw, Florida, to alleviate the veteran homelessness problem in Central Florida. All right, last year we won 2 awards. All right, first off, From Acquisition International Magazine, we won Leading Veteran Welfare Outreach Nonprofit Organization for 2023. We also won from Corporate Livewire, we won Veteran Support Nonprofit Organization of the Year. All right. We are media members of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, the NSSF, which is the organization that owns and runs SHOT Show. All right. We will soon be media members of the Professional Outdoor Media Association, POMA. And last, I have completed my book on my 3 tours in Iraq as a Marine Infantry Rifleman and submitted it to publishers. As soon as I have any type of a release date, I will let everyone know. All right. Now, without further ado, I now bring to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hezekiah Grice, owner and creator of the podcast, The Unwrapped Mind. Hey, Simplify, welcome to the show, boss.
Hey, solid hoorah to you and every Marine out there, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm honored. I am truly honored to be sitting across from a fellow Marine. We don't bump into each other often, but when we do get to see each other, the smile is infectious. Like I see you smiling because they don't know we was talking backstage. But now that we engaged, that's the smile that all Marines have when we see each other.
There you go.
Man,
there you
man,
go.
Peace and blessings to you and the audience out there. Definitely.
All right, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come on the show, man. Now, to jump us off, let us know where you're located.
Okay, so right now I am in Charleston, South Carolina. I actually stay in like one of the in the suburb. I stay in Goose Creek, which is on the other side of Charleston. I've been here since 2011, so going on 13 years. Really, man, it's wonderful. Wonderful. I've been retired since 2014, so I'm coming up on 10 years retirement, and just loving life, man. Loving life.
All right, that's what I like to hear. That's exactly what I like to hear. And congratulations on your retirement, boss. Seriously. Now, let's go ahead and walk right into your military background.
Okay, I'm gonna make a long story longer, and then I'm gonna try to shorten it up in the end.
Hey, you got all day, bro. Go ahead, man. This is what the other veterans like to hear. They like to know that somebody else is out there that's been through similar things as them.
So you want me to start at the beginning of why I came to the Marine Corps, all of that, or you just want me to...
Sure, bro. Yes, that's what this show's for.
So I came to the Marine Corps like probably a lot of people. I was 20 years old, didn't have a lot of direction. I was about to be a father for the first time. So I'm looking at fatherhood. I'm working at KFC. I'm working at Taco Bell. Dropped out of Akron University because I'm originally from Akron, Ohio. So I dropped out of college, but I'm still thinking I got a family support. Don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I do know KFC was not the way I was going to do it. So one day, and this is how I know it was really truly fate to join the Marine Corps. One day I was gonna call off work. I dialed 6 of the 7 digits. That's back when you had to dial 7 digits. This was 1994. So I dialed 6 of the 7 digits, and I said, you know what? What am I gonna do if I don't go to work? So I hung up, and instead of driving to work, I caught the bus. Because the bus got to go slow, might be late. Bus was on time, got to work early, got there, and I'm like, they're like, can you clock in? I'm like, nope, I'm not clocking in because I don't want to be here. In fact, I'm going to the store. Now, side note, I love Hostess yellow cakes, love them. So I'm going to the store to get Hostess yellow cake. Walk across the busy street. I'm walking. This is how much I don't want to be at work. I'm walking across the street. Car zooms up on me. Hey, what are you doing with your life? In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. So I'm ready. Turn around is this big, I will never forget him, Sergeant Ramman Ramoga. Sergeant Ramoga, appreciate you for this life-changing event. Jump out, super tall white guy's like, hey, you, what are you doing with yourself? I'm like, nothing. I ain't doing nothing. He's like, you want to join the Marine Corps? I was like, all right, cool. I'm making lifetime decisions trying to get a Hostess yellow cake. I'm making lifetime decisions. He come approach me. We talking for a few minutes. I'm like, look, I got to go to work. I work at KFC. I'm pointing across the street. I was like, if you're really serious, I open tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Be here before that. I drove to work, got out my car. He was there at 7:45. I jumped in his car. I said, look, I need a few minutes. I'm going to talk to the Marine Corps recruiter. jumped in his car, drove to the station. He whipped out his fancy little videos and what you here for cards. Dude, don't show me none of that. I'm 20 years old. I don't need nobody's permission. Just give me some paperwork to sign. I need about 2 weeks to go party. He was like, you don't smoke or drink? I don't smoke or drink. Don't get in no trouble. He put all his videos away because I was like, the more you tell me, the less I'm going to want to do this. So he put all the stuff away, gave me the documents to sign. I signed everything. Then he had to do a background check. Unfortunately for me, in the time of meeting him, my grandfather passed first. So I had to tell him my grandfather passed. He's like, you're going to need some time. Then like 10 days later, my son passed. So I had two tragedies back to back.
Shit, man, I'm sorry.
I mean, at this point, in today's life, I've accepted. I know it was a life-changing event, and I know why. But I remember he told me I don't have to go. He's like, man, I can tear your contract up. You don't got to go. I understand if you don't want to go. But I given my son my word that daddy would do better with his life so he could have a better life.
Oh.
So I no longer went to the Marine Corps for me. I went for my son.
Bet.
And I went, boot camp, parasailing where Marines go. We did our thing down there. And I stayed in. I did my first tour. Obviously, everybody want to go to Okinawa back in the 90s. I went to Okinawa. Unfortunately, I got there, and then that big rape incident occurred that brought all that bad publicity to the Marines. That happened. So it kind of put a damper on my first year. After that, I went back to parasailing. Miraculously enough, I worked on rifle range for 2.5 years. I worked on Starlight Range, training recruits.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember Starlight Range. Damn, you taking me way back.
Yeah, I did that for 2.5 years. After that, I managed to go to Quantico for another 2.5, 3 years. I did Quantico. Fortunately, at this point, I managed to get ready to have another child. So around the end of the 90s, early 2000s. I go back to Okinawa so that I can go be at Camp Lejeune because his mom was a Marine. So I'm like, look, I'll go to Okinawa to the worst duty station you got. They put me at Camp Schwab, which ended up being the best duty station. I got to be in 3rd Recon for a little bit and work out with those guys up there.
Nice.
Went to, from there, I went to Camp Lejeune, booted up with, what was it? Because it wasn't, oh man. I ended up getting on 24th Mu after a while. Okay. I ended up getting picked up by the 24th Mu. And 2nd FSG forward, because we still had FSSGs back then. 2nd FSSG forward. And we ended up getting picked up by 24th Mu. So somewhere in between all of this, I'm leaving out. 9/11 happened back in 2001 while I'm in Okinawa. I'm not going to tell that story because my kids hate me telling that story. I tell them all the time. So I'm going to spare y'all those details. But so 2002, we do workups. I can tell you, what was it? December 28th, 2002, I was in Kuwait.
Oh, shit.
We were some of the first people in Kuwait because I'm a logistician. I'm a 04 by trade, 0431, 0491 by the time I got out. So we were offloading, uploading, moving ships, people, doing whatever we can to get there. I'm
Hell
one of the
yeah.
first footprints, and
you were there early because I remember.
Yeah,
you were there early. I didn't touch down till like January, so for you to be there that early, you were getting stuff ready for real.
Yeah,
okay.
So we did all the offloads. We helped build all the camps. We were guiding convoys up and down the way. So we did all those things. Just had the time it was. I made some great friends. I made some great infantry friends. I made great friends all around because it got to take me out of my little box of being a logistician and put me in with everybody. Because a MU is everybody. So that was a really great time. I really appreciate the 24th MU. I will always be part of 24th MU, no matter what. That's one thing I would say. I will always be part of 24th MU. I will always have a soft space for 3rd Recon in my heart because those guys accepted me as a 04. And I just love 1st Sergeant Tom, 1st Sergeant Graham. All those guys were amazing. I still remember them all these years later. That's how wonderful they were to me. Then I did the Iraq, Kuwait trip from 2002, 2003, 2004, came back 2005, went to Cali in 2005, 2006, back to Iraq. 2007 did Iraq, came home, got married. 2008 went back to Okinawa for the third time.
All right.
Did Okinawa for a year over there, came back, went to I went to dang it, they're gonna kill me too. Task Force Tara. I forgot the second designation of it, but they're gonna kill me because I'm part of the Facebook group. But I basically went part of them. And, they're gonna kill me. So we went to Afghanistan in 2010. We did Afghanistan. And then I ended up getting injured in Afghanistan. Came home in 2010, had back surgery, all the things I'm supposed to have. Came down to work. Finally, as an injured Marine, I got to work I&I. And I will tell you, it was everything they said it was. So, but by then, I'm a gunny about to pick up Master Sergeant. So I work at I&I in Charleston. So I got to come down and work with the reservists and train them up. And I knew I was going to retire around that time too, because I couldn't give 100% anymore. Like I knew, because my back got tore up. I couldn't do sit-ups, and I can't demand the best from my Marines if I can't give the best. So
right on.
I basically was like, I'm going to retire in 2014, and I retired in 2014. So that's a long story short. I had some amazing units. I made some amazing friends. And if I can shout out my friends, shout out to Sedana, Rodriguez, Wallace, Mario, Freddie, freaking Chief Officer Johnson, my man Slade, my man Thresher. Those guys I carry in my heart, man. Weasel, I can't forget you. Those guys I carry in my heart, man. They were everything for me when I needed people the most. Those guys were there to, we were brothers, and to this day we still are. Like any of those guys that called me, and without question, I'm going to give them my all. They were, they were my brothers out there. You truly develop those relationships, and I appreciate having those relationships.
That's what's up. That's what's up right there. Yeah. As a matter of fact, my co-host is a former Marine also, and we both served 3 tours in Iraq with 3-4 out of 29 Palms. Now, I'm from Florida, so obviously I shouldn't have been in 29 Palms, but my entire SOI class, they needed bodies in first div, when we were building up for Iraq. So my entire SOI class got shipped, instead of going to Lejeune, we ended up in 29 Palms, man. And so I'm sorry, but the whole point is, even all these years later, my co-host now lives like within 15-20 minutes of my house here in Florida. So yeah, we've gone from Iraq 3 times together, both former sergeants, to now having this show and having our little web series where we hunt, fish, camp, that sort of thing with other vets. And I totally get you when you were doing your shout out to your Marine brothers. It hit me how close or how great that I have it, knowing that I had a guy I serve with that lives right down the street.
Yeah. And I can guarantee you, if we sit down and really talk, we cross paths.
Yep, somewhere.
Yeah, I can guarantee we did.
Always happen.
It always happens. I mean, I bump into people here, like in the Air Force, who are flying the C5s and the DC-10s and everything. And they're like, yeah, I remember landing at Cherry Point and we being loaded up by these. I'm like, that was us. And like I'll bump into corpsmen, or they're not even corpsmen no more. They're like working in the hospitals, and they're like, yeah, I remember that. I'm like, yo, that was my unit. That was us. And they're like, wow. So it's a very small military, but it's smaller when you've been affiliated with the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And you are 6 degrees of separation from the next Marine. Without a doubt.
That's what it is.
You bumped into my cousin, and here we are. What's the chance you doing an interview? Because I know what she does for a living, and it is as far from military as you can think. But here we are, 2 Marines sitting on the line.
Yeah, bro. Because we happened to run into her at SHOT Show in Vegas.
Yeah.
So we were trying to we're trying to develop a hunting show. So we're trying to get the gun companies and the gear companies to donate, or not donate, but to let us advertise their products for them.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing that we ran into your cousin, and like you said, from that little meeting in Vegas, which I thought might have been just another business card exchange, to this happening now. You're right. It's a small world, and things happen for a reason.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
All right. Now, if you don't mind, let's transition into your retirement and when you started up the Unwrapped Mind.
So, I knew I was going to retire. I got comfortable here working with reservists. I picked up Master Sergeant, and when you pick up Master Sergeant, when you got and not to brag, and it sounds like it is, when you pick up Master Sergeant, when you got the track record I got, you kind of want, you want a little bit of return. So they come down and like, hey, we got to move you because you got promoted out of your position. Where we gonna go? I'm like, dude, I'm injured. You know what I'm saying? I've been everywhere. I deploy like nobody's business. I want to go someplace where I can kind of set myself up for retirement, walk out my next 4 years. So dude was like, well, the monitor, and granted, we both master sergeants, so we talking to each other, regular conversation. First words out of his mouth is, I can't help you. Hey man, dude, you're the monitor. You're the only person that can help me. Like, you got to help me. So he's like, well, I can send you to California. My wife's from California. I can send you back to California, but they're going to deploy. I got a brand new baby. I had a brand new baby in 2009. I just got my son to come live with me in 2010. 2009, 2010. I got my son to come live with me. And this guy's talking about deploying me. I'm like, no, I don't want to be deployed. And I got another baby on the way. I had a baby in 2013. So this guy's like, oh, well, I can see this unit. They're going to deploy. Nah, I don't want to do that. What else you got? He was like, well, I got a unit in Camp Lejeune, but they're going to deploy. Nah, I was like, you need to find me someplace that's not deploying as soon as I get there. Well, ain't nothing I can do for you. And you know what? Don't stress yourself, big dog. I'm going to go ahead and drop my Appendix J. We're going to end this conversation. And he thought I was joking. He was like, well, if I don't get it in 24 hours, I'm going to cut you orders. Hung up the phone, walked right into S1, give him my paperwork. And I retired. It was, an easy decision. By then, I was already working on my bachelor's degree in psychology. I knew I was going to be working on my master's degree shortly after that. I knew I was going to be marketable. So I was like, because I'll work. I'm like, I'll do whatever it takes because, that's the mindset you got to have. So I retired. I mean, it was an easy decision to make. My family came first after all these years. I put my family first, put my wife first. I decided why make her move when she's established in the area. So I decided to retire from the Marine Corps. It was a great decision because I went out on the terms I wanted to go out in. I wasn't bitter towards the Marine Corps. It wasn't like they did me wrong. It was simply like it was time to move on. But What was that move going to be like? And after 20 years, I got to go out with, and I said it at my retirement ceremony, and I always say it. After 20 years, I can say I dined with kings and queens because I was in the United States Marine Corps. And I truly did. So retirement was easy. I went from Marine Corps. I thought retirement meant you get to stay home all day, to sit on your butt and, do travel and all that stuff. Then you realize everybody got a job. So
yeah.
You don't travel. You sit at home and wonder what your next step is. Stay at home. My daughter, it was great because she was still an infant. So we got to bond a lot. That was a really good time for me and her. Then I realized I got to go to work. So what do? I was going to school, trying to finish up my bachelor's, and I'm looking for jobs. Obviously, I did, go try to work for an insurance company. But they was like, well, you can't go to school during lunch. Well, this ain't a job for me because I'm getting a retirement check. I don't need a job. So then I went to being a school bus driver. No, first I went to Delta to be a flight attendant because people don't realize when you retire, you have the itch. And I call it the itch because you're so used to moving in the Marine Corps. I moved every 2.5 years like clockwork. I moved every 2.5 years. You get so used to that when you're sitting still, you get the itch. So I'm like, well, I just got to keep moving. I wanted to be a flight attendant. No kidding, y'all. This handsome face is going to be serving y'all biscottis and drinks on Delta Airlines.
All right.
But what happened was when I went to the interview, they were asking me questions. And I realized what the Marine Corps did not do then, what the military didn't do then, it's helped you transition to real life. Because they were asking you stuff like, what's a stressful time in your life? Name something that caused you stress. And unfortunately, all my stress stories ended up in death or somebody losing a limb or there's a lot of blood. And you don't realize corporate people don't want to hear that. Like I was telling the story and a lady interrupted me mid-story, was like, hold on, did you say somebody lost a leg? I'm like, yes. And I can see in their face I wasn't getting this job. So I'm like, you know, and they were like, you know, thank you for coming, but this ain't the job for you. And it was cool. It probably wasn't, you know, because I'm not gonna spaz out because we ran out of drinks. That's not a stressor for me.
Right.
So I didn't know how to interview properly. Eventually I became a school bus driver for like a month. But from being a school bus driver, I transitioned to being a school teacher. And I taught school for 3 years.
Good deal.
After 3 years, I was like, I'm going to focus in on my master's because I was going to school trying to get my master's and trying to teach school and trying to help my kids with school. And that was a lot of school. Like all I was doing was being at school, it seemed like. So I got out of that and I went to work where I work at now because today I work for the adoption agency. I help children get adopted. But,
all right.
I managed to get my master's degree. I got a great job, you know, helping children because I love helping children. So that was my transition out of the Marine Corps. The Unwrapped Mind came about from talking to my cousin Cedrica. I'm gonna shout you out because we don't say your name. Cedrica, talking to her was amazing. We talk all the time. She'd always be like, cousin, you need to like talk to people. And I'm like, don't nobody want to hear me talk. Nobody want to hear me talk. And then my sister said it. My sister Morgan was like, you should really like talk to people. And I'm like, well, I go on Facebook Live. And I would go on Facebook Live like once a week and just say something. And people was listening. Then I'm like, I wonder if I could do a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing I don't ever want to hear is somebody say what I can't do. So I didn't tell my wife. I went and bought me a whole new computer, whole new microphone, went and bought all my setup, took it upstairs to the man cave, set it up, recorded my first episode, didn't tell a soul. My first episode launched March 17th, 2021. So I didn't tell anybody. I even recorded an episode. I just had it all waiting to go. And I pressed play on it. It went out. And then that morning I told my wife, oh yeah, I got a podcast. So I had my logo design, everything.
All right.
Because I didn't want somebody to be like, why would you do a podcast? Like, I didn't want to hear a naysayer. Not to say my wife would have been, but you never know. Like, it could have been a friend. It could have been anybody. Somebody saying, well, I ain't going to listen to it because I don't listen to podcasts. Something like that I didn't need to hear. So
you didn't need to hear that.
Always going to support me. Who was me? Now, my wife is a huge fan. She's been a guest on the show. My daughter's been a guest. I've had a ton of guests come through. But starting it it's a therapy kind of a source because I call it the podcast about nothing that's talking about something.
Yeah, I saw that.
So all I'm talking about is what we go through during the day. That knucklehead who cut me off in traffic. That restaurant whose service was way too slow. You know, the things that you every day you complain about in your living room, like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
Where do these people come from? I'm talking about y'all. Because there's enough podcasts about sports, politics, religion, relationships, sex. Why not have a guy who's just talking about the same things you talk about? I make it feel like I want the podcast to feel like you was just sitting back holding a conversation with me. I mean, did you see that? Did you see that person at Walmart with the pajamas and the big hole in the back? That's what I talk about.
Yeah.
You know, like why are you coming out your house like that? So because it's a break from the norm. But it's also something that no matter who you are across the spectrum, you can relate to. Because I got fans as young as 14 listening to my podcast.
Nice.
But I got older people, you know, listening to my podcast because it's relatable. I try not to be offensive. I try not to I try not to pick a side on politics. I try not to even talk about politics.
Gotcha.
I'm not an expert at relationship advice. So if you take any of my advice and try to apply it to your relationship, it might not work. It only works in my house sometimes. So don't be talk about, man, I heard this on the Unwrapped Mind. You should be doing this. No. Don't go to your house with my advice. You gonna mess around, be sleeping on the couch, talking about I done lost my man. You know, so it's cool, man. But the podcast has been great. I'm up to episode 151, 152. I've been doing it steadily every week for the last 3 years, except for the week and 2 weeks I had pneumonia. Other than that, I give a fresh episode every week. I do not deliver old episodes. I don't deliver rehashes. I tell people, if you want to hear an old episode, you can find them in the archives. You know, it's there. Yeah. But I'm not going to rerun the episode. No matter how popular it is, I won't rerun it. Because I think because we have new conversations every day. Why not have a new podcast every week?
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I like that. Yeah, I really like that. All right. Now, excuse me. How about I like to ask all of the guests if they would mind telling us a story about something that you experienced so we can get a glimpse into what it was like to to be in your shoes.
All right. So and this is the story I always tell because it's the one that really hunted me the most. I remember it was my birthday, 2003. We were in Kuwait. I remember being like, this is the worst day of my life. Thinking it's the single worst day of my life. It was my birthday. I got a guided convoy, not LVSs. Jesus Christ. Not LVSs. I'll think of what it was. We were guiding the convoy. The Army was taking our convoy. We're taking them up to the Marines to offload. And we get to the offload spot. The Marines hadn't showed up. LCACs. No one LCACs. Man, I'll think of it. But anyway, we get to the offload site. The Marines haven't arrived yet because I guess we got there early. I don't even know what the situation was. So the Army's like, yo, we got to go. We got to drop these vehicles. And I'm like, don't touch the vehicles. You are not supposed to be touching these vehicles. Don't. And they offload. And all of a sudden, you hear one of them start up. And then all of a sudden, I hear, ah! And it, something's wrong. So one of the vehicles lunged forward, hit the girl at the legs, severed one leg, halfway severed the other leg. She's bleeding out. She's screaming. So now I'm in panic mode because now I'm in charge of this convoy. This girl is hurt beyond hurt. She's screaming out her mind. And we run up there. I'm in such panic mode. I grab the Iridium phone. My dumb ass dialed 911 because I'm in panic mode.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. Like, so then that's when the comm took over. I remember Staff Sergeant Brown and his guys finally pulled up to offload the vehicles correctly. We call in for for the helo-vac because we got to get her out of here. I'm covered in blood. Her blood's all on my uniform, all on my hands. This girl never passed out. And she screamed the whole time. The whole time she screamed. And she kept screaming. She kept screaming. Even when they helo-vac'd her out, I could hear her screams. And the screams hunted me for years. Because this is my birthday. Her screams haunted me for years. I could hear her screaming as they got her out. I got her blood on my uniform. I got to draw it back to the base. I'm covered in blood. And I can still hear her screams. And I heard her screams for years. For absolutely years, I heard her screams. So right around the time I'm about to retire, I would always go towards the psychiatrist at the medical hospital. I would walk close to the door, but never walk in. I would always walk close. I would never go in. So finally, when I decided it was my time to go in, I go talk to the doctor. I tell him what's going on with me. And he was like, I told him my whole story. He's like, you know what? I can help you. Because, first thing he tried to do is offer you drugs. He's like, do you know what medication you need? I don't want medication. I want help. As I tell him my story, hold on one second. Go check that meat. As I tell him my story, he's like, I can help you. He's like, I know exactly who you're talking about. So now I'm thinking he's just trying to blow smoke up my butt. So I'm like, nah. He knew the doctor who helped the girl when she got put in Germany. He knew the psychiatrist to help her when she got put in Germany. So at my third appointment, I go back. He gives me a number. He's like, I got in contact with the girl, and I'm not gonna say her name. Actually, she was Specialist Harris. That's her last name. And so I called her. Remember, this happened in 2003. It's 2013 at this time. I call her and I'm like, reintroduce myself, tell her who I am, tell her what I was. she remembered me. And more importantly, I got a chance to tell her like how much I've been worried about her for all this time. How much I never knew what happened to her because I didn't know she was alive or dead. Because all I remember, she was just gone. So I get a chance to talk to her, and that was a big healing thing for me because the pain stopped as well.
Yeah, you got to go full circle.
Yeah, and we got to talk, and we talked a couple times after that before we lost contact again. But she reassured me she was okay. She said, I'm fine. She's like, yeah, I lost my legs, but I have legs. She told me she had children. She wrote a book. You know, she had lived her life forward. But a part of my life stopped that day until I got to talk to her again. So I was really happy to have that moment to go forward in life. And that was a huge thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn, bro. You really got to go full circle on that one. That's amazing. All right. Now, I usually like to ask a guest if they could name their 3 favorite firearms. Try to give you 3 of them.
My 3 favorite, and only on one, but my 3 favorite guns are the 550 Mossberg, the shotgun, you know, that's sawed off as legally as it can be. That's an amazing shotgun if you ever fired it. My cousin has one, and his son has one. Boy, that thing got some power. Woo. It is amazing. So if you've never fired one, do yourself the favor. I love the 44 automatic. Always have a lot of power, a lot of punch. You can't miss even if you miss. Always love that. And of course, the Glock 17 is always going to be a good handgun to carry. Very good gun. But I'm a runner, so if I could buy another gun, it would be something small like a 380 because I run a lot and I run at night and my wife runs. It would be nice to have something small for that protection because right now we just got a 9mm that we keep, you know, but that's just for home protection. So that's actually my 4 guns if I had to pick. Gotcha.
I like. All right, and then to wrap things up here, can you tell us what's going to be coming in the future for both you and the Unwrapped Mind?
So for the future for me, I'm going to continue to, like I said, I work with children. I'm an adoption specialist, so I will always be trying to find a safe home for children. And I'm going to give a shameless plug. If you ever thought about adopting, go to Adopt Us Kids, Adopt US Kids, or the Heartfelt Calling, or the Heartfelt Gallery. If you ever thought about adopting, it's just a great thing to do. There's a lot of children who need good homes. There's no perfect children, but there are perfect homes, and a little bit of help goes a long way. So I will continue to be an adoption specialist until I can't. The Unwrapped Mind, the big thing I'm gonna do is continue to bring guests on, continue to give y'all fresh episodes, continue to let y'all just hopefully entertain y'all for the 30 minutes y'all allow me to entertain y'all every week. I just want to make sure it's good. I'm never shooting for numbers. I'm shooting for quality. So if I get one person who loved it, that's great. If I get 2 billion people who love it, that's even better. But it's just to keep recording, keep getting better, bringing in more guests. So if you ever want to be a guest, you ever want to sit back and talk about whatever, we will link up, is pull up to the couch and we talk, man. It's conversation. It ain't got to be nothing.
I'm going to be in contact then. I definitely be in contact.
I do got a good episode coming up. I'm going to record tomorrow. I don't want to give it away. But a fellow podcaster who has a very interesting side job. That's all I will say. So maybe episode 152 or 153, y'all will see that. But if you want to go back to episode 149, I want to say I had a lady who grew up in a cult. So, which was she was the most recent guest I had on. She grew up in a cult. She tells her story. But the other episodes are just kind of me doing my regular thing. But my last guest grew up in a cult. It was very interesting to hear her story, to hear what she had went through. So that's what's coming up with the Unwrapped Mind, man.
All right, boss. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everything. Hezekiah Grice with the Unwrapped Mind. All right. This has been episode 98 of the WarDawg Trail podcast. Hezekiah, I can't thank you enough. Can you let everyone know where they can find out about you and the Unwrapped Mind online?
Hey, I am everywhere. I am on all streaming platforms. You can talk to your smart device and say, play the Unwrapped Mind. You can download me on Audible. If you got audio books, wherever you download a podcast, you can download the Unwrapped Mind. And if I'm not there, reach me on my Facebook or my Instagram and say you're not there. I will get there. I will be everywhere. My goal is to be on Sirius XM before it's all said and done. But
hell yeah!
Everywhere else you want to be with a podcast. I don't do audio, so you won't find me on YouTube as far as audio. But I mean video. As far as video, you won't find me on YouTube. But audio wise, I'm everywhere. And if I'm not there, I'll get there. I promise you.
All right, that's what's up, boss. Thank you again, Semper Fi, hoorah, and thank you for joining the show, bro.
Hey, peace in the Middle East. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Hey, let's get up. We're going to hit each other up in probably about an hour so we can get you on my show.
Yeah, all right. That'll work, boss. That'll work.
All right, man. Peace.
Thank you for coming on. All right. Enjoy the Super Bowl now.
Hey, you too.
All right. Salute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's episode 98 of the WarDawg Trail podcast.
All I know is war. All I know is shoot. All I want is more, but I got some things to do. I'm a dog of war. Hell's what I've been through. I'm a dog of war. I did it all for you. I'm a soldier, I'm a warrior. Got an emblem on my cover. And ask me what I did for ya. I put the trash deep down under. Yeah, I'm a dog of war. Hell's what I've been through. I'm a dog of war. I did it all for you. Yeah.
Some time in the place, man. I just needed some space. So the pain show in my face and my heart starts to